I was working an event at the Marriott Hotel, and a really dope dude that I met on set who does like lighting. He's like he can do just about everything, but he's great with lighting and cinematography and everything like that. His name is Les, and he invited me to shoot this DJ con in the Marriott, and so there was a surprise guest there. And the surprise guest was on stage performing this and that. I was like, oh damn! And I'm like right there in front of the stage. He's like right there performing in front of the camera. And then when he got off stage, I was like, yo, I got to run up to this dude. So when he got off the stage, everybody ran around him, this, that, and the third. The artist is Wyclef, right? I always like
Wyclef Jean,
Wyclef.
big
Yeah, yeah.
Haitian.
Haitian, yeah, Sakafet. And so one of the biggest moments was he was surrounded by a bunch of people. I just tried to say whatever to get his attention. I was like, Sakafet, or yeah, I appreciate it. I respect it. Yeah, I just try to say anything.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Overcomaz. This is Marsha and my co-host is Andre, and today we have Angelo Boyke, who is a videographer slash director from Panama, who currently lives in Queens. What up? Wagwan?
Wagwan. Happy to be here, y'all. Yes.
Much respect for the interview, bro.
No doubt, man. No doubt, man. Pleasure. It's a pleasure, man.
All right, yeah. Thank you for coming here. So, I just gave a little synopsis, just a little thing, that you're a videographer, but we never really delve into it. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself in general, what you do and what you're about?
Angelo Boyke, yeah.
You guys want me to start like from the beginning, or you guys want me to just jump into it right now?
You can start from the beginning, just make it short and spicy.
All right, cool. All right, so I didn't know that I had an interest for filming until I was later in the game. I was like about 28 at this time. The girl that I was dating at the time, she was going to Purchase University for theater, and she had a MacBook computer, and she had just a regular little camera, and she was able to, the images that she filmed in a camera, she was able to put them on a computer and put it together. I was like, wait, you can film something and create your own story? And she was like, yeah. I was like, that shit just got me so open, So she used to let me borrow the computer and the camera.
Good woman.
Yes. She was good, man. But yeah, she used to let me borrow the computer and the camera. I did a lot of work for free. I've done, like short films that nobody would ever see.
That's like the beginning fine. Practice.
Part of the process.
Exactly. And I just, outside of that, I didn't know how to make money from it. So it was just a hobby, and so I was working in the hotel industry, in reservations, and then I was doing sales, then kind of more on the corporate side, for the last, from, I would say maybe 28 to about 36, I was doing hotel work. The last hotel that I was working at, I got laid off. And my fiance was like, "You're too talented to go back to work at a hotel.
Why don't you just another good woman.
Yeah, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to date some amazing Black women, queens from the Caribbean and Africa. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Yeah. So she's like, why don't you just take this time and kind of reach back out to the people that's been in production. I was like, all right, cool. Because, I've always been trying to start my own thing because everything that I know, I'm self-taught, right? I'm self-taught. And I've been just trying to do my own thing. I wanted to tell our own stories in the Caribbean and Africa. And I was like, okay. So when I got laid off, I was on unemployment for about 3 to 6 months. So I just reconnected with a lot of the people that I've known. And I just started working on projects with them and started learning more about it. Because before I was just so interested in filming, but then working with people that are more advanced than I am, I had the opportunity to learn how important it is to have lighting. Like lighting creates the mood. Anybody holds the camera, but if you want to be able to tell or express a certain feeling, lighting is really key. So I had the opportunity to learn from some really amazing people, and 3 or 4 years later, I'm completely self-employed. It's not an easy journey. There's been plenty of times I want to give up, but then it's always that one thing that it's like, come on, we got to go. And
Grit and tenacity, man.
Yeah. That's a long story short. There's a lot in between there.
No.
You know, so yeah, you know, I started as you know, just filming on my own, and then I started working in production. I mean, you know, I'm coming in later in the game, so I started at the bottom as a PA, and then within 8 months, I started ACN here and there, which is an assistant camera, and then people saw how hungry I was, and then this gentleman, he owns a company that operates and rents out jibs. Jibs is a long arm where you could put a camera on and swing it like, you know. So they you know, they hired me offset to help be a jib tech, and I've just been blessed to come across some really awesome people that saw how hungry I was and was willing to invest education in me. Education. Yeah.
So that's within 3-4 years. That's a lot of growth, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is. Looking back, you know, I've been really hard on myself because I did horrible in school. I barely graduated high school. I had to do night school. I just my focus was just all over the place, and I didn't know because I didn't know I was creative. I didn't know that when I heard sounds or anything that I'm seeing, I'm constantly creating, and I just thought I was getting lost in a daydream, but it was something more than that. Yeah.
So you never realized your purpose at that time. You were just doing
because
whatever.
you know why? Because it wasn't the right time to actually realize that dream and that purpose.
That's true.
But like you found it at the right time. And
that's true.
Flourishing to crazy heights now. But just give us a little idea of what Angelo was like growing up in Queens back in the day.
You know, growing up in Queens back in the days, you know, my parents both immigrated from Panama. So, you know, I grew up in the typical Caribbean household with, you know, my parents, and I had my grandma and my aunt in the house.
Extended family.
That's the way to do it, the village. And then, you know, I had two. I'm the youngest. I have 2 brothers and a sister. And, you know, our house was always like the place to be. My friends used to always come over my house. My parents always cook. And a majority of my friends were from, you know, Jamaica, Haiti, and like, you know, Trinidad and Guyana. So I was the only one where my parents like kind of spoke Spanish. So they would come over and eat, you know. There was like Spanish music playing in the background and stuff like that. So, you know, they they had the opportunity to try a little bit of Latin cuisines. But, you know, growing up, I was just, you know, I always want to find some type of adventure, you know, always want to create something. Like, you know, some of my friends, one of my friends, his mom was a nurse. So when she used to go to work, he had like needles and stuff. So we would try to find like spiders and try to take out their DNA and then inject it in locusts and try to create laboratories and underground things. And, you know, we just tried because
I used to dissect lizards back in the days. As I used to dissect lizards and roaches back in the days.
See? You see what I'm saying? And, you know, so it's what's unfortunate is that in our communities, you know, a lot of times they don't have resources for us to really expand. You know what I'm saying? There's no, we don't have the tools, man. There's no tools, you know. So it's easy to get caught up in the street life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, growing up, I had the opportunity to know people that went away to college, and then, you know, I knew some gangsters too, you know. But the gangsters that I knew, you know, what I found out at the end of the day is that everybody has a heart. They just don't have the tools or don't have the support or the love around them to kind of guide them.
And sometimes the knowledge too.
Knowledge, yeah, because, you know, as you get older and you reconnect with some of them, like, you know, I just didn't know, I was lost, I was just trying to fit in, you know, and that's kind of where it starts. But, you know, growing up, I was just, you know, I just tried to find adventure. Sometimes we'll create trouble just to get chased, you know, do some crazy shit, you know, just to get chased, just for that adrenaline rush. I sucked in basketball. I was good in football. I had no dribble,
no ups.
I'm one of those type of guys. Yeah, I mean, but that's you know, that what else I would say? Yeah, there's a lot about myself I didn't find out until later on in my life, man. You know, I graduated from high school, and then I went to a community college, Queensborough College. I just took liberal arts. I probably got like 57 credits, and I think I only need 60 to graduate. I dropped out.
We're
Yeah,
like, this is, like
It's not for you.
that's the degree that a lot of people take when they just
Liberal
want to
arts,
have a degree. They don't know what they want to do.
That's the well-rounded degree.
yeah. But one thing I do regret that I didn't. I wish I had the opportunity to go to have go away and live on campus and have that experience. Yeah,
Campus life, nice. I did that in Jamaica for 3 years, and it was some of the best years of my life. Like dorm life, the dorm culture and everything is so different. Even when I moved to this to my current university, dorm life was different. It was just like a bunch of people living. But back in Jamaica, it was like a family. We played basketball, we did all kind of sports. We compete against different dorms. You wear your jerseys. You're very patriotic and everything.
It's like a full vibe.
Yeah, man. But here it's just like we just live over there.
Yeah.
That's what I miss about here. But I get what you're saying. Dorm life probably would have been a hype, right?
Yeah, man. And when you do those things, you build a network.
Definitely.
You build a community. You know what I'm saying? So I wish I had that experience. Yeah.
All right. So okay, go ahead, Marsha. Sorry about that.
I was gonna say, like, you mentioned, like, you had these little quirky things about you, these little creativity that you never knew how to channel, and you worked in hotel for a long time. How was that for you? Did you feel as though you weren't doing what you were supposed to do, or in sales you were interacting with a lot of persons, so you get to network and meet people as well? Which one was it for you? Was it just a job or career?
When I first started, it was exciting because I felt like working in the hotel industry, I'll get to meet people from all over the world. But that slowly died, like in 2 months. But I stayed in that industry for about 10 years probably. And it's because when you work in the hotel industry, they have a certain system, right? So it's like they may use a different platform that most people will use, like in administrative jobs, like Excel. And I'm not saying that they don't use that, but it's just a different system that you use. So you get comfortable, and then you are afraid to try anything else. So I mean, what I would say is that I learned a lot about customer service, and being able to learning how important customer service is. I can use that in the profession that I have now.
Yeah, that's why I asked you. That is exactly why I asked you, because you said that you did sales. So I'm saying, okay, maybe you garnered some skills from there that can use in your career, and maybe that is why you have moved up so quickly, because maybe you have that personality, and you know how to engage people. That is why they see you. They always see you when you're there, and that's why you keep moving up. That's why I asked it.
Yeah, because a lot of times you sit down like, damn, I hate this. Like, I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But I didn't realize exactly what you just said.
I'm the positive in everything.
There's a positive in everything. Yep, and Steve Jobs said the best. You can't point the dots looking forward. You can only point them looking backwards. It's not until time has passed you can look back and be like, oh, that's the reason why.
Exactly.
So I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it.
You might not realize at that point in time, but when you actually sit back, okay, this actually made sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Sure. And being able to try to find solutions and talk and provide service for people from all over the world, so that was cool. That was good. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Like I'm just asking you to touch on one of your high points of your creative career. Like what are one or two of your high points thus far of your creative career, and maybe like one or two incidents that took place that kind of like shook you up on your journey to get to where you are now.
Okay, one of my high points of my career. Oh man.
Sounds like there's a lot.
Yeah.
No. Because sometimes we look for the biggest thing, but sometimes it's the smallest thing. So I'm just trying
maybe it's a message within it then.
Exactly.
Okay, I would say this, right? Okay, I will give you two things, right? Like the highest part was like, okay, even though I was in sales and all that stuff, a lot of the times everything was done over the phone. I'm really It took a long time for me to break out of my shell. I held myself back a lot because I was really, really shy, right? And
Really?
yeah, just shy, man. And one of my cousins, I was when I first started, before getting paid and all that, I was just helping him doing film, and I just saw how aggressive he was. Like, he didn't back down or no, and I just always admired that. Like, damn, And so I didn't learn that until maybe 5 years ago, right? So I would say, okay, so here's the story, right? So I was working an event at the Marriott Hotel, and a really dope dude that I met on set who does like lighting. He can do just about everything, but he's great with lighting and, cinematography and everything like that. His name is Les. And he invited me to shoot this DJ con in the Marriott. And so there was a surprise guest there. And the surprise guest was on stage performing this and that. I was like, oh, damn. And I'm like right there in front of the stage. He's like right there performing in front of the camera. And then when he got off stage, I was like, yo, I got to run up to this dude. So when he got off the stage, everybody ran around him, this, that, and the third. The artist is Wyclef, right?
Wyclef, big.
Yeah. Haitian, yeah, Sakafet. And so one of the biggest moments was he was surrounded by a bunch of people. I just tried to say whatever to get his attention. I was like, Sakafet, or I appreciate it. I respect it. Yeah, I just try to say anything. And I was like, yeah, I respect anybody that try to run for presidency of their own country. So then he turned around and I gave him my business card. I was like, yo, this is my name. I'm a videographer editor. Boom, 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 right? I did that. And then he texted me the next morning. He texted me Wyclef. And I was like, going to November, Wyclef? Yeah. He put LOL, yeah. He was like, so he went LOL, and I was like, okay, do you want to speak this evening or whatever? And he said, let's speak tomorrow. I'll call you in the morning tomorrow. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make sure my phone is like loud. I have an alarm on. He calls me at 7 o'clock in the morning. He's like, oh, yeah. He called me at 7 o'clock in the morning. He's like, yeah, I'll be trying to tell these young boys I'm up at 5 a.m. I go to yoga, do my yoga, take my daughter to school. I'm up at 5 a.m. and I get right to work. He's like, you can't wake up late. And he's like, I'm gonna be at the studio tonight in Jersey. You want to come through? And I was filming that day. I was filming like a behind the scenes photo shoot in Brooklyn. I was like, yeah. So he sent me the address. It was deep out. I got lost. Oh man, it was far out. I've never been to that part of Jersey before. I got lost, and then I got to the studio, knocked at the door. He said, all right, come in. He just turned his back and would let me come in. And then I was just filming the sessions. And so there was the pivotal moment for me was being bold enough to say, this is who I am.
To steal a moment, yeah.
That's what made me realize. And then, from there, it transitioned. I went on tour with him, jumped through a few states with him.
Oh.
And, he introduced me to his manager, who's amazing. And, it's just a good relationship that we've built thus far, man. So I'm just really grateful for that. He's a dope dude. Yeah.
So that's your high point. That's so good, to be bold enough. There's this saying that says opportunities come but once. Not all the time, but they say opportunities come but once. And you see that you took the opportunity, and maybe you never really thought it would have turned out into anything. And look at it now.
Well, if you don't take a chance, you never know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And there was one other thing I want to tell. I was unemployed, right? And someone called me to shoot the Nigerian Entertainment Awards in Manhattan, right? The budget was really small, though. It was for a host. It was really small. This dude hit me up. He's like, yo, can you just film it? Whatever. It's $50. $50. And
better than nothing.
Yeah, I know. But, I was like, damn, $50. I'm going to be there filming for like 5 hours.
$10 an hour.
Yeah. And then I gotta edit it for, the edit. They said they wanted to be 12 minutes. But I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to do it because I want to make as many connections as possible.
Exactly.
That job, me and this dude is cool. And that job turned from 50 to 400 and then 2,500. And you know what I'm saying? So I was like, so that was eye-opening for me. And one other thing that I do that I mentioned is that I just started a label in Africa. I got an artist.
Nice.
everything is just kind of coming full circle.
Yeah, connecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know that sometimes we get opportunities and it might be not what we want, and some people get hyped and be like, oh, $50, I'm not doing it, I'm not worth $50, I'm worth more than it. But sometimes it takes patience. So that is what I'm getting from you. You
Never
knew
burn your
it,
bridges at all. You never
exactly.
know.
You knew that it was worth more than $50, but you still stuck onto it,
Connection.
right? And look at the direction that you're going in the project. You never saw the trajectory at the time, but look at it now.
Yep.
So I think for a lot of persons, youths, people that are probably watching this is an important message. You know, sometimes it might seem minuscule, it might seem small, but you have to be patient
In the
and
long
wait.
run.
And
Yeah,
even me myself, I have so much experience. I've lived abroad, outside of this country. I'm not in Jamaica. I've lived in Japan. I've worked in Japan. I've met many people. I have a master's. I have a lot of things. And then COVID, boom, came.
Yep.
And I cannot get an opportunity that I want. And I'm doing a job now that a lot of persons, when I tell them how much I make, they're like, wow, that's a little bit of money. But for me, I'm using this as a stepping stone to get into what I actually want to get into. And initially, like you, I was like, that's what they pay, I'm not going to do it. But then I wasn't getting any calls. So I hop onto it. I've been doing it now. Plus, I braid. That's my side hustle. Big up to my hands. Thank God. I do braids. That helps me a lot. I teach English online. So I'm trying, to stretch out everything until I get what I really want. So that is why, what you just said is very profound. And I think a lot of persons can learn from that message.
Yeah, man. That's dope, man. I mean, you gotta see the value in something, even if it doesn't necessarily translate.
So you have to creep before you walk at the end of the day. So like, you can't always expect to make that jump just like that. So you definitely have to start somewhere.
That's true. That's
and try not to burn your bridges, because at the end of the day, who knows what that person might help you to achieve in the long run, as opposed to where you're at right now. So that's definitely.
You also mentioned that what you learned was self-taught. What are those challenges that you think you face or have faced because you never went directly to school to learn what you're doing? What are the challenges? And I'm asking this because some people think that, hey, you have to study business to do business. You have to study videography to do videography. So tell me, are there challenges? Is it the same? Do you think if you went to college, it would have been different?
All right. So once I realized I was good at it, I took one course. It was only 6 months. It was 6 months. It was independent film. I went to School of Visual Arts, and I had this amazing teacher, Italian guy. It was the best teacher I ever had in my life, called Anthony Lever. And he was teaching independent filmmaking, right? It was just 6 months. And, I was fortunate to have him as a teacher, because unfortunate for him, though, he was a car accident. His body, it was a hit and run. His body got hit. His body broke into a glass door in Manhattan. And he was just away from home, and then all of his body, his bones, basically shattered. And so he had to go through therapy. He was a director working on set.
He's alive, right?
He's alive.
Yes. Oh, wow.
He's alive, and he knew the one of the top dogs at School of Visual Arts. He said, "Look, right now you can't work on film. Why don't you just come and teach classes?" So I just wanted to say he was just. I just need to say this one thing. I would never forget him. Like, there was a point where I didn't have any money, and he said, "Yo, I believe in you so much." He paid for me to finish the course.
Oh, wow.
And then the school, he used to break down the films, and they used to take all of the time, and the school would have to shut down. So he got permission to bring us to his home, and he used to order food, and he was really passionate. He was someone who truly was passionate about the craft.
Mentor to you,
black and white and all that foolishness. He was truly passionate. Just wanted to connect with people on that level. Okay, so the advantages, let's see. The disadvantages I would say about not going to school is that I didn't really know the lingo. I didn't know how important lighting was. Because I was in a box. I didn't work in sets. I was just doing everything on my own, so I didn't really know as much as I should have. And then my network was small, right? So that was a disadvantage. The advantage is I had to do it. I had to put myself out there. you know, and I'm not saying people that would go to school don't have this, you know, you at some point you gotta put yourself out there. It was totally different learning in a classroom and then learning in a field. But you know, I had to put myself out there several times, and even if I got laughed at or didn't produce the greatest, whatever, like I just kept on going. And I just think that you know, sometimes learning like on the street and just learning from people on the go, because there's a lot of people that I've met in production that's making great money that didn't even go to school. They just started from the bottom, and they just they latched on to somebody that can teach them, you know. And that's kind of what it's really about. If you have the passion and you're willing to learn, you know, and you know, film school is really expensive. I tried the NYFA. I didn't have a grant or any type of loan. That it was too expensive. So that's one of the main reasons why I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this myself. And I think me wanting to do it myself mentality kind of like made me really wanted to develop my own. At some point, you know, I went from I still film. I'm focused more on directing now because that's what I want to do. But I want to also like just really develop concepts and sell them. Like I really develop concepts and sell them.
So that's what's next.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, I didn't have structure. I think school would have given me a structure, would have been good. But I didn't have. I just had to figure it out on my own. So I kind of embrace. I embrace that. You know.
So all right. So so like over the years, like I've seen you in a few different countries, right?
Yeah.
Different countries. I'm just doing your thing. As far as places you traveled thus far, like what places or countries would you say stand out to you, and why?
I'm gonna start with you guys' country, Jamaica. I love Jamaica, man. You know, the soil is very fertile. I love the culture. It could be a little aggressive, but it's just the culture. Not all the people, obviously, but I actually was
Jamaica all the time.
Jamaica, boom! I love the culture. I love the food.
Kids don't do this at home.
I love the food. I love the culture. I love the confidence in the people in Jamaica. You know, I honestly, I was just in I think Portland about last month. Just finished directing a project with you know, Jamaica's own Egyptian and TJ.
Okay.
You're doing big things, man.
You know, I'm the underdog on the way up. Yeah.
Getting there. Definitely getting there.
I mean, when you get older, you appreciate the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're younger, it's like, I just want to do this now. But I love, like I said, I love Jamaica. I love that it's so green and it's mountainous and the fruits, man. It's incredible, man. So definitely Jamaica, Ethiopia. I've traveled to a lot of places. There's a strong connection between Jamaica and
Ethiopia.
Haile
Selassie,
yeah, so I was in Shashamani, you know, it's where all the Rastas are from Jamaica, Barbados, and England, Trinidad, Grenada. They migrate over there. So I met a lot of the Rasta brothers and sisters over there. What I love about Ethiopia is that, you know, they're really ancient people. You know, so I never knew that there were castles in Africa until I went to Ethiopia and I walked in some of the castles in Gondar. That was incredible, you know. And then I saw like the monolithic, you know, the monolithic churches that they built in Lalibela. You know, it just, they have like a strong amount of faith and to build things with their hands. And it kind of like really challenge you to want to really understand the history of your people in Africa, because you know, in the Western world, they, you know, basically what you know is that we're just slaves and all that, but you know, that's highly,
that's way more to it.
Touch ground. It's like, wow,
way more to it. Yep.
Like we're kings and queens out here, and a lot of our traditions were passed down to all those other countries.
Angelo, can you share 2 gems or 2 tips that you can share with people on how they can go on, or what are those things that they need, their mantras in life? What is your mantra, etc.? 2 or 1 if you want. What you live by.
I don't want to. One thing that I don't want to regret, you know, is something that I fear. You know, we live once. You know, I know that sounds cliche, but like,
fulfill your purpose. Yeah.
You know, if it's, you know, finding peace or fulfilling your purpose, whatever it is, whatever that brings you happiness. Like, you know, if I just don't want to regret not giving it my all or trying my best. I don't want to shortchange myself because I'm not getting the responses that I think I should be getting. I want to be able to work through it. You know, you just gotta like really. There's so many motivational speakers out there.
Push through.
You just gotta, like what Nike said, you just gotta do it. Like you just gotta do it, man. You just gotta try, and don't focus on getting the best things to do it. Use what you have. I truly believe that universe thing is real. Like every time I always come across somebody that knows something on where I can get something or knows this. You know, it's just that universal thing is real. You just have to do it. Use whatever you have to get it done, and just be patient because this is a long process. Nothing happens overnight.
Thanks for that, because I need to be patient when it comes to my career too.
You got to be patient.
You know, I think one of the biggest messages, other than what you just shared, is age shouldn't be a factor to stop you from doing what you want to do. You see, you mentioned that you started a career later on in your life. A lot of persons, they believe like once they're no longer in their 20s or they're no longer in their 30s, that they can't do it, they can't do this. You see TikTok, you see YouTube, you see everything now. There's different niche for people of different ages. You see elderly people on TikTok, you see them doing lots of things. So with you sharing that you started this late in life, I hope this session or this interview would inspire somebody who is older or getting older to just pick up themselves and find something to do that is fulfilling and just do it, you know? That's the main thing that I want to say.
Yeah, that's dope. Even if, you know, you may not have just 5 minutes, which try with 5 minutes a day, and then I would turn it to 10 minutes and it would just, you know, then you just have to be consistent, you know. Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to say though. There was one thing I wanted to say. In life, there was a lot of things that I wanted at a certain time, but looking back, I wasn't ready for it. You're like, I wanted to be directing 5-6 years ago. I wanted to be ready because I don't have the tools. I don't know.
Yeah, no resources.
You know. So when we were preparing for that video shoot in Jamaica with TJ and Egyptian at a location, we visited the location, but we had to shoot it in a totally different area. There was a lot of things that could have crumbled, but because of experience and I had a dope team, we were able to follow through with the project.
Enough respect for sharing that, bro. Before you do go, just go ahead and just share your ads. Instagram, Facebook.
Where can we find you?
Exactly.
I'm so old school. I only have Instagram, you know, so I can't keep
it. I got Instagram all day, every day.
Yeah, so it's at Angelo_B_media. At Angelo_B_media. Yeah.
Cool.
I wonder if we can afford you. What if we can't afford you? You know, maybe we can teach us some editing.
Maybe not now enough, but later on, when it's the right time.
Yeah, maybe you can teach us some editing tips, you know, to spice up our things, you know.
That's the only way we're gonna grow is if we each one teach one. That's what I believe in. Yeah. I'm waiting for Andre's book, so
there you go.
He has a few books too, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Since we're all Caribbean people, I want to share a little message before we go. I want to say that our prayers are with the people from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's so sad what is happening there. We hope that you guys can pull through. We're all in the Caribbean and the diaspora praying for you guys, and we hope that everything goes well. We don't want any more lahars, no more volcanoes, no rain, no hurricane. Please, please. And keep staying peeps. Bless up. Later.
Yeah. Cool.
Later.
Thank you. I'm humbled. Thank you, guys.
Much respect, bro. Cool.
Later.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Good?
Yeah,
man, we're good, man. Thanks. Yeah. Was well done. Thank you.
Lessons. All right.